Help, I can't homeschool my kids because I'm terrible at math. Well, maybe I could do elementary school, but I certainly couldn't do junior high or high school. If you've ever said anything like that, then today's video is for you.
I was all alone, but then you came along.
Hi, I'm Erin Berry. Many parents who consider homeschooling, or actually even are homeschooling, often struggle with math. So I'm going to do a series on videos addressing math. We're going to talk about everything from curriculum to math approaches to high school, elementary, even personal finances. So I hope that this will be really helpful for you as you consider teaching your children math. Now, I want to begin with a bit of a testimony. So today, I can say I've homeschooled my children all the way through high school. They've gotten into college and graduated college. And one of my sons is even a programmer, which that's a math field, right? I've had a steady income as a personal math tutor for over 15 years. And actually, I even tutored before then. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about my background because I think if you knew where I started from, it will make a world of difference about how you think about your ability to teach your children math. All right, let's get started. So I was a terrible student. Yes, sadly, I don't think I got anything above a C in math in high school. As a matter of fact, I'm embarrassed to say, I failed geometry in the 10th grade and had to go to summer school. And so then I decided to homeschool, right? So I have this math history. I decided to homeschool. My daughter's only 5. I'm starting, and some friends came to me because they knew I had a teaching degree. And they came to me and said, would you homeschool our children? What had happened, like help them with math? What had happened is they had put them in a class didn't make, so they said, can you help them with their math? So they were willing to pay me. I was like, I could always use the money. So I said yes. It was only, and let me tell you what they were doing. They were doing Saxon 7-6. Now, if you know anything about Saxon, it means that it's average 7th grader, advanced 6th grader. So you can use this Saxon 7-6 if your child's in 6th grade, but they're advanced, or if they're just an average 7th grader. So I was an elementary school teacher, figured, I can do this. Well, I started tutoring their students, and I noticed that when I read some of the stuff, I was like, wait a minute, I don't remember this. Or, that's how you do that. So I started to think, oh my goodness, if I am not confident with advanced 6th grade, average 7th grade, how am I ever going to teach my children once they get into high school? And so it was a true dilemma, and I think many of you probably feel that way too. But let me tell you what I discovered and how I was able to have this math growth in my life. Well, the first thing is that when you homeschool, you have your curriculum, right? And what's nice about a curriculum is that it is sequential. What I mean by that is it grows step by step. And I found that along with that, so not only does the curriculum grow, I grew with my children, right? I taught my daughter kindergarten, then 1st grade, 2nd grade. And by the time she was about 2nd grade, my son started school, so I did kindergarten. 1st grade, 2nd grade with him. She's going up to 4th and 5th. Then my next son started. Guess what? By this time, I've done kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade 3 times. And so I've grown with them. And I also had the answer key, which is very important. And I had something that showed me exactly where they were supposed to be, and I could work backwards from that. But what I found with those 3 components is with the curriculum, with the answer key, and growing over and over and doing the math with my children, I actually learned a lot of skills alongside them. And so, people will say, when they came to me too for tutoring, so I began to grow with my kids, then I just want to tell you that as I tutored, people would come to me and say, can you tutor my student for algebra? And I would have had I think by the time I started tutoring algebra, I had taken Loren through algebra. So I had a little experience again. But I said, okay, let me just tell you about myself and math. I'm about 1 week or 2 weeks ahead of your student. If you're okay with that, I will do it. Well, the parents were always glad to have help. And so they always said, sure. And I told them, I said, if I can't do this, I'll be honest with you and tell you I can't do this. But the truth is, I just was faithful, studied, worked hard, used the answer key, and was able to grow with those students. And so for you, you may say, Erin, I don't want to grow in math like you have. Well, then you can hire someone like me, right? Because there are people out there like me that want to grow in the math and would be happy to help your children. And then, of course, as I've said, you don't have to have all the answers. There's a misunderstanding, I think, when it comes to teaching. First of all, that we have to know everything, be an expert before we have anything to offer. But that's not true. We're teaching our children not just the subject content, but how to learn. And it's okay to be sitting beside them and to say, I don't know this, or I've got to look that up, or let's Google it, or let's ask somebody. That doesn't take away from your authority, and it doesn't take away from you being the leader or the teacher in that process. And it's okay if you are relying on the resources, because you're not the one that's supposed to be learning. What I mean by that is they're learning. They're the ones that have to get the mastery. You're doing the guiding and the walking alongside them. And so, honestly, my kids have passed me in some content area, not just math, but like my son who's a programmer. Come on, his sense of logic and math is outdone my math skills. But you know what? That doesn't mean that he can't still come to me at times, or I couldn't help him process when we were learning together when he was in high school using the materials that I had. And, just the idea that where I am today, I went through the process and I grew. And I just want to encourage you. You're going to go through the process, you're going to grow, and you might even discover areas that you love that you didn't know you did love. And that's what happened with me with math. I always, because I had done so poorly, because I had failed, I always thought, I'm not a math person. I can't do math. It was really an area of even shame. But as I've taught my children, I have found, and tutored many, I have found I love math. You know why I love it? Because I understand it. Because I can do it. Because I now see, these are the processes. I actually can do it. And so I just want to encourage you that there are things that you might have missed when you were a student that you're going to find that you actually, as you homeschool your kids, retrain, regrow, that you're actually good at and that you like. And finally, if you say, well, that's all good and well, Erin, but I don't find that inspiring, then I want to share another story about somebody who overcame in math that I think will be an inspiration. I want to tell you about BJ. BJ happens to be my husband's mother, and in 2013, she was 72 years old. And just to get a little bit of background on BJ, she got married in 1957. She was supposed to graduate high school, but she didn't want to wait till the end of the year. At the time, she lived in one city and her fiance, LB, lived in another city. And the world was different in that being that far away, they didn't have the communication options and they just wanted to be together. So she actually quit high school and got married. Well, it turned out to be fine. She ended up managing a beauty supply shop for like 30 years, very successful. But she did not have her high school diploma. And BJ said, it was something she was actually sort of ashamed of and felt bad about because she felt like I should have finished my high school diploma. But her life went on. She had kids and a career didn't seem important until she was about 72. And she said to her husband, she said, you know what? I have felt bad about not having my high school diploma. I want to go back and get my GED. So he was like, why? She wasn't even working at this point. And she said, well, it just matters to me. It matters to me to feel good about myself. So BJ did. She went back, she studied, and she took her GED. But you know what happened? She failed the algebra. She failed the math part. So we were talking about it, and she said, I don't understand. She said, they had all these questions that I don't remember. I was like, really, BJ? After 57, since 1957, you don't remember those things. Surprise. But I was like, well, you've had a lot of life in between then. So anyway, she went back, she got online, she practiced, she studied, and she went back to take the math section. And she went and she goes, do you remember me, to them? Which is so cute. They're like, yeah, we don't have a lot of gray-haired women that come in to do their GED. But the point is, she did her GED, she took that math test the second time, and she passed. And at 72, she got her GED. Now, that is a story of perseverance. That is a story of overcoming. That is a story of saying it's never too late to learn and to grow. And you've got it, you can do it. And I want to just tell you a sweet ending to that story. So it happened to be 2013, and our son Brooks graduated from high school in 2013. So Brett's parents were visiting us, BJLB. So we had, since we're homeschoolers, we have lots of graduation gowns. So we said, we're going to have a little graduation ceremony. And we got a gown. We put Brooks in a gown with his diploma. We put BJ in her gown with her diploma and a rose. And we took pictures and we had celebration. And it was so beautiful. And, after that, I found BJ in the kitchen. And she was crying. And I kind of felt bad. I was like, did I do something wrong? Should we have not done this? You don't know people's emotions or what they feel. And she said, no, Erin. She said, I just never dreamed that I would get a graduation picture. And I just thought, isn't it something? The things that we go through life, and we all have pieces that are missing, and we all have dreams. And God answers those dreams in different ways. And here she was. Not only did she get her GED, but she got something else that mattered to her. And so I tell you all of this because I am hoping that as you enter or consider or are on your homeschool journey, that you will not allow your past, the enemy's things that he tells you can and can't do, or that you're not good enough at, or whatever, to keep you from going forward. And that you will trust God, do the work, but trust God to bring the steps and the pieces and the people and the different things alongside you so that you can carry out the task that he has for you. So that's my math testimony. That's BJ's math testimony. And I hope that you will be able to follow your journey and will be able to hear your math testimony. Well, I hope this video is helpful. As I said, we're going to do a couple more videos getting into the more nitty-gritty of math, so look for those. But in the meantime, as we've said, if you like this video, please tell us in the comments what has spoken to you or something about your math journey. We'd love to keep the conversation. Please check our website, thehomeeducatedmind.com. We have a course, I have a book, we have all kinds of things to help you be successful. And remember, yes, you can homeschool.